Welcome on in to Snow The Goalie. We are here at Chickie's and Pete's in Bordentown, New Jersey. There is excitement in the air, guys. Olympic hockey has begun. And I think, maybe there's a small group of people right now who are just happy to get to enjoy the sport of hockey without having to worry about whether or not their favorite team is going to live up to the hype or potentially let them down on any given night. How are we feeling as the Olympics get started? Ant is here, Bundy's here. We're streaming live everywhere. How are we doing, guys?
Doing great. Watched 2 games today, or most of 2 games today. The second game I was in the car for a lot of it, so I didn't get to see a good portion of that. But I watched the Slovakia-Finland game this morning. Was pretty good. Slovakia pulled off what I would say is an upset.
That was a big upset.
Yeah, 4-1 in that game. And then Italy hung in with Sweden.
How about it?
Until the very, very end. You got out of control at the end, but they were only down a goal with like 4 minutes to play. So that was Olympic hockey is interesting, man. It really
Our countrymen, SanFilippo.
Yeah, well, they put on a good show for their home crowd.
Yeah,
they really did. They did put on a good show for the home crowd. Yeah. So it's good. It's exciting. It's. I always say Olympic hockey is worth it, and we'll get into it. Well, there's a couple things I want to talk about Olympic hockey today.
Bundy, by the way, the ice has held up so far.
The ice has held up so far. There's no holes in it yet.
Can you tell that it's a hair short?
I can.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I do too. I see it in the corners.
Yeah, in the corners. It's like there's no corners.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You can tell.
Yeah,
right?
you can.
Yeah. It's just weird. Like I was like, you're gonna really notice that? It's only a couple feet. Oh, you notice it watching it, right? So that's interesting. But yeah, we got some flyer stuff still to kind of, we'll do a little bit of flyer stuff here today, and then we'll get into the Olympics. But we want mostly to hear from the fans, to hear from what you guys want to talk about. So especially this week and next week when there are no games, it'd be best to have you guys call in and talk to us. Best way to get through and on the show is call 215-949-3232 and get on the show, and we'll talk Flyers hockey with you. So
before we get into the Flyers of it all, Bundy, I mean, obviously you get a few teams out on the ice today to start things off, including the home nation. But what's it like preparing for that first game?
Yeah,
these players, like what it actually goes into it. What's different about preparing for the Olympics, let's say, and representing your country versus going out wearing the crest of your team in the NHL?
Yeah, well, in the NHL, it's an 82-game schedule, right? So the Olympics, you realize when you get on the ice that game is super important. It's not like you can take a night off. Every game is really important, and to have a good start and a fast start to the tournament goes a long way when you get into the medal round. So, I mean, no, there's an excitement for sure. You're representing your country. You look around, the same guys in the NHL, all have the same jersey, wearing the same jerseys, and you recognize everybody. So it's a pretty cool feeling.
Do the rivalries at least get put aside for a little bit when it's your home nation, or do you still kind of have a little bit of resentment towards some of the guys on your team that you typically go to battle with in the NHL?
You just put that aside.
Okay.
Yeah, and even if there's anything, I mean, you're joining a guy on his team to be his teammate.
Yeah,
there's no animosity from any gripes or past battles that happened when you're on separate teams. I never saw it like that anyway.
It's just weird. I think hockey is like this differently than most other sports, and I'm not saying that if you have a rivalry in another sport, you join that team, that rival on a team somewhere, that automatically there's friction. It's not always the case.
Yeah.
But there's just something about guys in hockey, and always has been, and Bundy can kind of attest to this, that what's on the ice in the game is completely different from what happens off the ice, right? There's a real camaraderie amongst athletes in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels a little bit different, I think, than in other sports.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's that bond between hockey players that they have, realizing that you're going into battle together, right? And I think in a shortened tournament, that's why the stakes are so much higher, and everything gets blown up. The fans are crazier. The Olympic atmosphere is unbelievable. It's a pretty cool atmosphere and an experience for each of these guys.
And it's also, I guess, kind of interesting to think about the fact that we, I think, oftentimes associate the wealth of players, right? Just in general, that play in the NHL, that they can travel whenever the heck they want. But there's a good chance that for a lot of these guys, it's the first time they've ever gotten to Italy. And you got to think that for some of the non-US, Canada, and especially the top tier NHL players, this might be the first time that a lot of these guys have ever actually competed at this kind of level in that country. So it's a pretty cool experience for them as well. I wonder if you get to actually experience anything about the host nation, or if it really is you're into the hotel, you're out of the hotel. You're
What was it like for you guys?
We stayed in the Olympic Village during the Olympics. Yeah. We stayed in the Olympic Village. It was a pretty cool experience. It really was. Like, I think the guys now are doing that too. They're staying in the Olympic Village. They're not staying in hotels.
Yes.
So, you get the full experience of seeing the other athletes, meeting other people in the village, and then sticking around your team, having a tight-knit group around your team.
But you're not going out like sightseeing, I guess.
No, I didn't do any sightseeing. I went and hung out in the Canada House every night. It was unbelievable. It was like a big party every single night. Different athletes coming back, and it was unbelievable. It was crazy.
Did you travel off to any of the other events? Like sometimes you see
no,
because sometimes you see like people going from like other events to go support their countrymen.
I didn't. We didn't get a chance to see any other events.
Okay,
I didn't.
Because I think correct me if I'm wrong, Bundy. Wasn't it at that time? Didn't the hockey tournament like go basically from the start to the end?
Yes.
Like there was no real break.
Yeah, it was
or a late
apart.
start. Like, I mean, like now this one started a week in.
Yeah.
Or 6 days in.
Yeah.
Like you would have had an opportunity to maybe go see another event now that you guys didn't have.
Yeah, I saw some of the guys yesterday were at events.
Yeah.
Canada and the US. US guys went to the Olympic hockey game, the girls game. And Canada was watching the short track speed skating.
Yeah.
There were some US people that showed up to the mixed curling. I saw that as well. Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I think we still have something to be said for the idea of us doing a curling team.
Like, don't you believe it? Like,
no,
don't you believe
absolutely not.
We could
fall flat on your face. Like, who are you kidding?
We could learn it.
I would too.
It's a hard sport to play.
Curling.
Yeah, I've tried it. It's really hard.
That one, I'll tell you what. The American, what's his name? Dropkin.
Yeah.
He, like, hearing him huff and puff as he's going down the ice. just vigorously sweeping.
I don't know if I could sweep.
Oh, so what would you just want to be the guy who starts off and you roll the stone down the ice? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
of course, wants to do the least amount of effort and get all the credit.
I grew up playing bocce as an Italian, right?
Yeah.
So this is bocce on ice with bigger stones, and then you're the small little fast guy.
Okay.
You can sit there and you can you can sweep for us.
Cool.
Right, and you can, and you're loud. You can yell.
What does Bundy get to do? Is he our
coach?
Can
yell. Bundy can be the coach.
Bundy's the coach. Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing better yet to watch the Olympics and watching that cross country skier from Norway.
The one that went a sub 6 minute mile going uphill. Unbelievable.
Yeah, ridiculous. It's just made me sick watching it.
I don't resent that guy for being able to do it.
Oh.
But like, how do you get to a point fitness wise where that is in any way, shape, or form possible? I think that's the one thing about the Olympics is like you can sit back and you can appreciate how different a lot of these sports are, right? You can appreciate the fact that they all have different skill sets and different physicality, but like you see that and you just go, yo, I've been trying for a week to convince myself to get up at 5 a.m. and go for a run. And then I see this guy doing a sub 6 minute mile on skis. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm just going to sleep in.
You know what one that's on, we can't tell you to watch it, on our screen, but it's kind of on now is luge.
Luge is cool.
Luge,
yeah.
What I don't understand though is the 2-person luge
where they stack on each other.
Yeah, they're laying on each other.
What's the point?
Camaraderie, friendship,
Like, what's the point?
Love.
I mean, it's just one person I kind of get, right?
Well, you have something against
no,
two
I
people
just don't,
laying
I don't
on
understand.
each other,
I don't
going
understand
down an ice track.
Like, what does the person on the bottom?
Nothing. He's just getting like laid on.
Like, dude, it's the guy in the front is doing all the work, right? Like, what's the other guy? He's just there.
And
I'm like,
we take this in a ferry.
You can be that guy, Russ.
I don't know if I want to be either of those guys. You know what? You know what was crazy? Have you seen any of the behind the scenes stuff where they're doing the drones that are following everybody?
Unbelievable.
So I've always found skeleton is the scariest thing to me, right? Where you go face first down. When you see that with the drone going over top, because I think the drones tap out at like 75 miles per hour. They're like 250 grams or something. They're incredibly light drones. You get the feel for just how, like, you think it's dangerous and you watch it on TV. And even when they kind of like try to take you down on a camera, you're like, all right, yeah, this is scary. When you see the drone going over the person going face, I'm like, I don't know if these people have a will to live.
It's crazy, right?
It's unhinged.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Here's the real question. So, Bundy, like you right now might from time to time have the urge to get out on the ice or to grab a stick and to play a little bit of hockey, right? Like physically, you're not in the same speed, shape as you
not
are
even
as a
close.
pro, right? But like, you could still go out and to some extent still play hockey and enjoy playing hockey. If you're a person who does skeleton, how do you get that thrill? Like when you hit 50 or 60, like what do you do?
Yeah, I know.
Do you like dump water down the hill in front of your house and just jump on a sled and what do you do? How do you get the same rush?
Where do you get your rush out of that?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's a good point.
It's crazy.
I don't know. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good
Feels
point.
like one of those sports where it doesn't have like an age expiration. Like you can do it at 60,
I guess.
right? Like what's
If you
going to
make
stop
it that far.
if you want to keep going that long? Yeah.
Well, let's get into the hockey. I mean, I thought we
Okay.
would wait on the Olympics, but since we're all in on the
I
Olympics
think we're all
right
just
now,
kind of riding the high from the
so
Olympics, right?
so-
Wasn't it nice to have the Olympics going into the Super Bowl, which ended up being a stinky game? Like, wasn't it nice to have
yes.
that bridge? Like, I like the Olympics. Big Olympics guy right here.
Yeah,
you know?
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. How and tell me if I'm wrong on this, Bunny, but my impression of Olympic hockey, short tournament hockey, is it's all about the goalies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I really believe that because it's, you say any given game, like if a goalie's playing great, he could steal a game.
Yep.
Even if the other team's far superior. And then you watch games like today, and you see like this is setting up for what can be an unpredictable and wild tournament in the men's side.
Yep.
The first game where Slovakia wins, guy comes in and plays the game of his life for Slovakia in goal.
Yep. Minnesota Wild American League goalie.
His name is Samuel Hlavich. Okay. He does play for the Iowa Wild, all right, in the American Hockey League.
Only 24 years old.
Undrafted.
Yeah.
Okay. Played mostly in the Slovak League. Did have one season in the Czech League. Been the last 2 seasons with the Iowa Wild. You know what his numbers are this year in 18 games for the Wild?
No.
3.33 goals against average and 884 save percentage.
In the AHL.
In the AHL.
And he was the starter.
He started for Slovakia and dominated the game.
Yeah, stopped like 39 out of 40 shots.
Like, was unbelievable.
Yeah.
He was the difference in the game. And so that's my point. Like, we're not talking about an all-world goalie here. We're talking about a minor league goalie.
Yep.
Who is going up against NHL players and has one great game. And now Slovakia's in a good spot because they beat a team that they're not supposed to beat.
Yep. It's true.
Is that just the adrenaline rush there, Bundy? Like more than anything?
Yeah, and that Slavkovsky was unbelievable today.
Yeah,
too.
he was. Yeah. He was really good.
Slavkovsky, Montreal Canadian player. I mean, he's dominant. He's already got, he's only 21 years old. He's already got 9 Olympic goals.
Yeah.
He's like,
crazy.
It's he can keep going like that. He's going to surpass it by a mile.
Yeah. But I'm just, and then the follow up on that, let's get to the Italy game. Sweden wins the game 5-2. By the way, set a record for most shots by a team in an Olympic game in which the NHL players have played.
Huh.
Okay. Sweden had 60 shots on goal in this game.
It's a lot.
60. Now they win 5-2. One of them was an empty netter. The game was 3-2 with 4 something to play when they scored. The starting goalie for Italy was a kid named Damian Clara, who was actually a second-round draft pick by the Ducks a few years ago. So it was actually this is a legit prospect-y type goalie. Mm-hmm. Still, he's playing in the Swedish league. He's not playing in the AHL.
Yeah.
He's playing in Sweden. He had 44 saves through 2 periods and got hurt and had to come out of the game. And they had to put a backup goalie in by the name of David Fadani.
Davide
Fadani. Yeah. Okay. Undrafted. Mm-hmm. He came in, he only gave up 1 goal. Faced 14 shots, I think it was, only gave up 1 goal.
Good for him.
So we're talking about guys who they're not pros yet, or at the NHL level.
They're not at the level that you would think a guy could come out and dominate or keep his team in the game.
Yeah. And so that's why I'm saying it's got to really be about goaltending.
Yeah.
Ultimately, yes, talent usually wins out, but it's
short tournament. You got to have a good goalie,
right? Once you get into the knockout round, it's one and done.
Yep.
Like if the goalie can kill a team, like it can beat another team, knock them out.
Can, yep.
Right. And so that's what this is all. That's what it's all about. So I'm always fascinated by the goaltending in the Olympics.
Yeah, it's a good point, Ant, because there is. I mean, if a guy can stand on his head in a short period of time, you got a way to come out with the medal. Look at Czechoslovakia, the Czech Republic, what they were the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Dominik Hasek won that in 1998, right? you know, in Stone Canada in the shootout, but he was unbelievable.
Right. And so, like, I think that's really what it comes down to. Apparently, Dan Vladar will be in net tomorrow against Team Canada tomorrow morning.
Huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That could be interesting.
Is that surprising to you?
Well, let's put it this way. He's been better than Dostal, who's been kind of their number one guy for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I thought, what's his name? The Utah goalie, Vejmelka. Yeah. I thought he's played well enough that maybe he might get the nod.
Okay.
And it's not. It's Vladar.
Huh.
It's Vladar tomorrow morning. So, that's a game that I'm going to be curious to watch.
Yeah, that should be an interesting game. Yeah.
I think we all will. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I mean, Vladar is such an interesting story, right? Like, I mean, obviously we look at it anecdotally from like our perspective in our little Philadelphia hockey bubble of just how important he's been for this team. But like, I don't know, a year ago, was anybody talking about Dan Vladar representing his country? Even when he's playing for Calgary, he was playing well, like down the stretch, tough matchups and everything. I don't remember Vladar's name being thrown around. Now, in fairness, I'm not paying attention to every bit of news around Chickie, but like, he played himself into the Olympic stage by going to a team, signing with the team, and taking over the number one job in, with the Flyers. I guess conversely, Sam Ersson's a guy who got to play in Four Nations, played really well for Sweden. Ultimately, like, things fell apart here the first half of the season. He doesn't ultimately, have that opportunity to represent his country. It's the dichotomy of man.
Yeah.
Right? It shows you just how important the form that you're in your respective league can really play a role if you get to represent your nation or not.
And I think that's a team that nobody talks about. The Czechs.
The Czechs, yeah, they're good. They got good players on their team.
Yeah, I think that's a team that everybody talks about the four teams that were in the Four Nations last year.
Yeah,
but I think that the Czechs are kind of like, you forgot about us a little bit there, and I think they have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah,
because if you're not including Russia, they're the next best team.
Right,
and it's like we could have been part of that. Like maybe you should have included us in this in that little round robin setup. And that's why I think that you're going to see a determined Czech team come out against Canada tomorrow. I really do.
We'll see.
I really do. I really believe that.
We're in an interesting spot right now. The start of hockey.
Oh, I thought you meant here at Chickies and Pete's.
Well, I do. I was going to transition to that, but now you blew my cover. So, but we are in an interesting spot. Like, hope springs eternal for all of these teams, and then you see what happened today. And I think that there are teams that are going into tomorrow's, matchups, and they're maybe heavy underdogs. Nobody gives them a lot of respect, a lot of belief that they can get the job done. You go out and you see how these games played out today. Maybe there's a team that really starts to feel good about themselves. And I'll tell you who's feeling really good about themselves. Each and every person who came out to Chickies and Pete's in Bordentown, New Jersey tonight, because we're at Chickies and Pete's, one of 17 locations in the greater Philadelphia area. And this one, we like this one a lot. This is a good setup. We got like a little stage-ish sort of area up here. Food, fantastic as always.
Yep.
We did not go with the mussels. You could go with the mussels in red, the mussels in white. You could go with the shrimp. Bundy, how many shrimp did you have today?
I think I had like 10. There was 10 of them in there. Yeah. Peel and eat.
Yeah. You and I went in on the shrimp, and then you got the clam chowder.
Clam chowder and
clam chowder.
Yeah.
Speaking of the clam chowder, we should put this up on the screen because our Hextall 87, who is here to see the show, it's good to see our
Stick
Hextall
taps.
87.
Stick taps for our Hextall 87.
Says Bundy sold me on trying the Chickies and Pete's clam chowder tonight. He deserves a commission.
There you go. Make it worth his while.
So there you go. But
very good stuff.
Yeah, no. So absolutely. So be sure to check us out every Wednesday. Different Chickies and Pete's. And if you're down at the arena, there's two of them. There's two Chickies and Pete's locations. One in the East Food Hall, and the other one is I
always love when you try to set this whole thing up.
I can look at. You know what? I can look at it. I have it here in front of me.
You could.
All right. I could.
One could argue that you should.
I should be able to pull it up.
They also have Chickie's Pizza at the airport. Like I say, it's the best place to stop. Before you hop on the plane.
Yeah, East Food Hall and the southeast entrance in front of Section 103. So I was correct on that. So yes,
good on you.
So yeah, be sure to check them out. Absolutely.
#blessed. But it is truly a great place to be. There's no better place to watch a Flyers game, but while the Flyers are off, there's no better place
to watch Olympic hockey.
To watch your favorite Olympic event, maybe even to watch Dave Dombrowski tell Phillies fans that everything's fine and that Nick Castellanos will be moved before everybody reports to camp.
Well, it's still possible.
Yeah, sure. Oh, anything's
I think
possible.
it's going to be tomorrow, if you want my honest opinion.
We're going to give a shout out here really quick to John Kruk over here, not the actual John Kruk.
Oh, I
John
was going to say, John Kruk's watching.
I saw this. So John Kruk has been like battling cancer. Bundy, you followed John at some point during the cancer battle, but got hacked. And so his whole account got taken down over on Twitter. So we're going to give a shout out, out there battling a horrible illness. But had a quick question. What goalie do you think we can trade for realistically that can back up Vladar? Is there somebody on the market? Obviously, we're in the midst of a freeze on being able to go out and, make a move for a player. But is there a goalie before the freeze hit that seemed somewhat attainable for the Flyers or any team looking for a backup netminder?
Not really.
Nothing comes to mind.
There's only a couple of teams that have goalie depth, and I don't think that because of that, the value for that guy, even though he's a backup, is probably higher than it should be.
Yeah.
Right. So you would have to overpay for that player. I think that the Flyers have decided that they're going to sink or swim with what they have.
You think so?
I think so too. I think so too.
Yeah.
Mostly because of how the last few weeks before the break
Yes,
went.
I would argue that if they had stayed where they were, kind of in a playoff spot or right on the doorstep of one, that you might have seen them make a trade for an AHL goalie who's played well, who could potentially come in and replace Ayerson.
Okay.
Because you couldn't really get worse, right? So, like, you really just...
Or an AHL guy who maybe
like
could
a veteran...
Or an AHL guy who maybe could have taken Kolosov's spot, and then Kolosov comes up, or no, you think they want to just keep...
I think they want to keep Kolosov
and Bjarnason down there.
Yeah. And what I mean by it, I don't just mean like some young, nobody. I mean somebody who's playing in the AHL who's maybe got a little bit of NHL experience, that kind of
a
vet,
Cal Peterson sort of type
like that. Not him specifically, but a player like that, right?
Okay.
So I think that could have happened. Now I'm not so sure. Now I think that because of where they're at, unless they come out of this break, and it was there's 5 games before the deadline,
something like
that. Unless they come out of this break and get like 8 out of 10 points and kind of get themselves back into the conversation, I don't think it's going to happen.
Interesting.
At this point, yeah.
An interesting place the Flyers find themselves.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of the Flyers, we do, even though they have not really played, or there was one game since we last did a show, we do still have a sponsored segment that we have to do.
Not that we have to.
No,
that we're happy to do.
That we have to do. And so it is the Payroll Service Solutions Philadelphia Flyers Player of the Week. Brought to you, of course, by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today at 1-866-PAY-EASY. That's 1-866-PAY-EASY. I think that the easy way to go here, guys, on this, with only one game, and is we could pick Dan Vladar every week, that because of how well he's played.
Sure.
He was very good in that one game.
Yeah.
Right. The last game before the break, he was sensational. But I think it would only be right, since we're talking about the Olympics, to just have the 3 guys share the Player of the Week.
Oh, come on.
Because they're all playing. Look, I was a little surprised when I saw the Canada lineup and saw that Travis Sanheim is in.
Yeah.
And he's not the extra guy. I thought he was going to be one of the extra defensemen.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I thought it was 50-50.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's in at least for...
I think he's playing with Theodore.
Yeah.
Who's a guarantee to play.
Yeah. So he's going to be in the lineup for the first game. And that's pretty good. That's pretty impressive. Like, I thought he was just on the cusp, not going to be able to get there. But you sit there and say, look, you get to play for your country in the Olympics, and you're starting. You're not going to be a reserve. Mm-hmm. So I think all 3 guys who are over there playing, I would say they deserve to share the Player of the Week. And so that would be Dan Vladar, Travis Sanheim, and Rasmus Ristolainen.
So we have to go Bernie Sanders methodology with you here?
Well, I'm just
Bundy,
trying to come up with an
I
answer.
can't co-sign all 3.
You know what? We saw a game last Thursday.
It was the only one. It was the only game.
Yeah, and that was it. They lost 2-1. So because it's the Olympics, I'm going to join Ant on this sentiment.
Like, it could only be Vladar otherwise, right? So I'm giving it to him.
Okay.
I'm giving it to him, but I'm just saying.
How do I say this in a nice way?
You don't.
Rodrigo Abels was going to be an Olympian, right?
Yes.
Is Rodrigo Abels at the same level as the others.
He's one of our payroll service players of the week.
I totally get it, but like there's a different threshold for like what allows you to represent a country versus another. Risto's been hurt a lot this year. Is he an Olympian for Finland? Sure. Would he have been an Olympian for a bunch of other nations? Probably not. Sanheim, I thought it's interesting because there were a lot of the national pundits and international pundits thought that Sanheim might not make the team. So kudos to him, and he's played really well. To me, like I still lean very heavily towards like Vladar got this thing done by his incredible play for this team for the first half of the year. So I would have just simply gone with Dan Vladar, but I guess I'll just co-sign. We're giving out participation.
There you go.
Trophies.
And for what it's worth, Rasmus Ristolainen had a decent game today for Finland.
I didn't notice a lot of them.
That's
I only watched the second, third period.
Yeah,
I thought he was okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. When you have a defenseman who doesn't stand out negatively, that means he's doing his job.
Yeah,
right. So
I don't give out participation trophies. They
decent first game.
Give out spots on these Olympics teams. I am a much more critical person when it comes to the talent.
So there you go. So with the 3 Flyer Olympians who are actually playing in games, not including Rodrigo Abels, are this week.
Maybe we should have given it to Rodrigo Abels because he doesn't get the thrill of playing, but he could get the thrill of being the lone person named as the payroll service solution.
But he's already won it before. That's the only reason I say that we go against that.
Okay.
If he hadn't won one before, I would co-sign that with you.
Okay.
But he hasn't. So anyway, so they are our Flyers payroll service solutions players of the week. Brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them at 1-866-PAY-EASY for the smart choice in payroll services. Payroll Service Solutions caters to the small and medium-sized business to handle all of your payroll needs. Call them once again at 1-866-PAY-EASY.
Don't forget, if you have a big business, you can always maybe reach out to them and ask them if they'll break your big business into small and medium-sized subset businesses. And then they still got your back. I've been told that we have a caller.
Awesome.
Remember, if you want to get in on the action tonight, you want to have a conversation, talk some puck, you can call 215-949-3232. Again, that is 215-949-3232. I'm being told Paul is on the line. We don't know where Paul's calling from. Maybe Paul is in Roxborough. Maybe Paul is in Philadelphia, perhaps in Milan. Paul, thanks for calling. Where are you?
No, I'm in Central New Jersey, guys. Guys, you bring in the good energy. I really like you guys. I got a question for Bundy, but it's actually for all 3 of you. But Anthony, if you back up, you're going to knock over like 100 cans. So just be careful. First of all. All right?
I'll be careful. I got you. We're okay.
Okay. All right. So Bundy, I'm curious. Is that with hockey that you see now, right? Is there anything like a lost art from back, I don't know, when you played that you see that say, hey, you know what, these players could do this to improve their chances of winning, right? Like I was watching a game the other day, I think it was they did it today in the Olympics. Some guy straddled the line to stay on sides. I don't see that much in the NHL. Is there anything, maybe you think you had, maybe you got to think overnight, a couple of days. But I'm just curious, is there a lost art that people, I think over time, stuff gets lost? That's what I'm trying to say.
You mean just in the game in general, or are you comparing the Olympics to the NHL?
Well, no, in a game in general, say when you played, say you were able to hold someone a certain way or use a position or their formation that, like, you watch now, they're like, these guys don't do it anymore. Maybe they just lost or they transitioned away from a certain strategy that they don't use anymore.
Yeah,
that they could.
And that would be probably the clutch and grab. That would be the biggest difference that now is you can't do that. Where in my day, you were encouraged to grab a guy's jersey and throw him into the boards and hold him into those boards. You can't do that anymore. You can get in the guy's way and be disruptive with getting your body in the way, but you can't clutch and grab, and that's really changed the look of hockey.
Oh, okay. No, I appreciate it.
But I think there's more. I think there's more to it than that, though.
And
Paul.
thank you for calling in, Paul.
Thanks for calling. And Bundy, maybe you can address this too. Yeah, that they obviously took that out of the game, and because they wanted to open up hockey. And it has to a degree, but the game is still coached and driven by defensive posture.
Yes.
Right? It's still even today.
Yeah.
while you can't clutch and grab, I do feel like there is an opportunity that is being missed to play the game in a way that maybe you're not holding a guy against the wall or grabbing, but you could still separate a guy from the puck. And I think that there's way too much stick play nowadays.
Yeah.
Right? Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, there is. Where guys will turn. They won't finish their checks like they used to.
Yeah, they turn away.
Yeah, they turn away. They skate off a different direction. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that you see in the NHL game today, or any game, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
and there's definitely been a lack of not finishing checks has been very, very obvious too.
And I think that that's something that could still be part of the game if they wanted it to.
It's still legal,
right?
Yeah, you can still finish a check, but you guys don't want to get in trouble. You hit a guy late, and all of a sudden you're up against a suspension.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. And I guess it's also, the game is so fast that you're worried about, is this open ice physical play going to create contact to the head, and then I'm going to lose 15 games and a paycheck for all that time.
Yeah.
And that's got to be what you're thinking while you pull up, right? Whereas back in the day, nobody cared.
Right.
You just hit the guy, right?
Right. You're told to finish your checks.
Right.
You had to finish your checks.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
can I make a comparison here? I know it's going to feel sacrilege, but it is correct. But Bundy can certainly speak to this better. It feels like the NHL and the NBA have both had a similar thing happen, where if you look at the play of, like, say, the 80s and 90s, it seemed like while the speed wasn't there as much as it is right now, it does feel like the game on the whole is faster now. The physical play isn't nearly
correct
what it once was. It feels like both leagues have kind of started to trend and dive even further into speed, but guys kind of shying away from contact. Is there a way for that to kind of shift back, I guess? Like, Bundy, is there a way for that pendulum to swing back to physical play? Or are we is the NHL essentially what it is and what it's going to be?
They'll never go back to that physicality. Okay. No, it'll never happen. NBA, I mean, you look at the videos of the 80s and early 90s in the NBA. It was ferocious.
Yeah.
Guys were like choking each other out in front of the net. I mean, like under the hoop.
Yeah.
Hockey, you'll never see it again. You'll never see that kind of anger and hostility, which made the great game great.
Yeah.
A lot of times two teams hated each other and guys wanted to fight and just absolutely ram the hell out of each other into the boards, kill, put a guy through the boards. You won't see that anymore. You'll see a little bit of, you'll see some animosity, like the Tampa Bay and Florida series has gotten really good. Yep. Like they go at it every game, but those are fights. It does. I mean, those make those games really interesting.
Do you think watching them? Do you think part of it is a lot of guys train together in the off season?
Yeah, they all know each other now.
Was that always as prominent?
No.
Yeah, because I wonder if that's part of it too. Is it's one thing if you only ever take the ice against a guy from a hated rival, right? And that's the only time you're on the ice with them versus, where you go represent the country. Oh, by the way, we have the same trainer, or we're going to go work
they're
out
all
together.
Friends now off the ice and everything.
I have to imagine
too.
that takes a lot of that animosity away.
Of course
right?
it does, yeah.
And then it kind of bleeds onto the ice where you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more, and this isn't to say that you guys didn't chirp back then, but I think it's more chirpy today. You guys talked more physically back then.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
Spoke with actions, not with words.
Yeah, now there's a lot of chirping. There appears to be a lot more chirping than there was.
And that's all it is.
There was a lot of chirping back when I played.
Yeah, but I'm saying it was usually the chirping was because the result of physicality.
Right.
Whereas now it's only chirping.
Right.
It's not as much physicality.
Yeah. So. It's like the old thing, in a high school, you get a kid who definitely doesn't want to get in a fight, but they start to talk some smack, and then they look around for the adult to hopefully get in the way and break up the fight, or they go to take the backpack off and they waste some time. Then they go to take the hoodie off and they waste some time. And every once in a while, you get a kid on the other side who just pops someone real quick. But usually it's just waiting to get split up. And that's kind of like what happens even in scrums, right? Scrums between players now, half the time it's guys don't want to actually drop the gloves. They just want to put on that facade until the officials come and split them up.
I say this all the time, and it's not me being an old guy, because that's how it's always kind of interpreted. You're just saying the game was always better in your day. I'm not saying that. I think that the skill of today is better. There's just players are more skilled. They're faster. That's the evolution of the
sport.
The
NBA parallel, I think, too. It's a faster.
That's the evolution of
the game.
But go back and watch. If you're a younger fan, go back and watch games from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
just watch the game and watch how the intensity of it and how different it was, and tell me that's not a more exciting version of the sport. Like, to me, it's not to say that one era of player is more talented or less talented or whatever. It's the game, the sport. Watch how it was played and tell me that doesn't get the juices flowing a little bit more. I just haven't been as excited for hockey, period, in the recent years as I used to be. Even as a journalist, even as an objective observer, as a reporter, like, I used to think that it was fun and exciting. You get down there. I always talk about that 2004 game against Ottawa being my favorite game to cover. Like, that just is missing in the sport.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
It is. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of, you don't have that anymore. You don't have the building sitting on a powder keg anymore.
Right.
Or where the players are on a bench and you can just feel something's going down.
Yeah.
That's outside the game of hockey.
Right.
You know what's done it, though? And we have to be fair here. Like, I think we see it so much more with what we do and the team that we cover, because for the better part of a decade, they haven't been in a lot of competitive games. They haven't been in a lot of playoff series. They haven't been in a lot of heated rivalry games because they have largely been a team that's been on the outside looking in. Think about the games that we kind of talk about the most from the last few years. It's been the Cutter Gauthier games. It's been a few of those Rangers games where it does feel like there's a playoff atmosphere. I think even in those games, we've noted that the team plays differently when the energy in the building, whether that's from the fans, from the moment, they do play a stylistically different game where they're more amped up.
But even that, Russ, and you're right, but even that pales in comparison to what it used to be.
Sure.
Right? Like, even
100%.
that pales. So that's the only thing I'm trying to say, is that I wish that you could have the skill of today, but have that heightened intensity of the past.
Yeah.
And I think that would make a greater version.
Yeah,
of the
and
sport.
that's not coming back.
Unfortunately.
No, it's
Unfortunately.
not the way the rules are set up now.
Yeah. So
if you could implement one, let's make you Gary Bettman for the day, right? And let's make you judge, jury, and executioner. What's the one rule change that you would make, Bundy, to get the league back to what we're talking about? What's one thing?
Well, one thing I would do as a defenseman, I would allow for defensemen to hold up for their partner again.
Okay.
So when a puck gets dumped in the corner, usually the cross corner, right? Your partner will go get the puck, and then the guy's coming to forecheck. You'd be able to hold up for your partner. You can't do that anymore. That would be a good thing. It would take away, the guy going through the backboards if a guy hits you hard.
Yeah.
That's one good thing. I'm trying to think of one rule that I would change. You got me on the spot on this one.
Think about it.
Yeah, let me
think about it. We'll come back
on
to
that
it.
one. Yeah.
Something that would allow for the physicality of the game to come back. That maybe has been, has been changed out of it.
And Bunny, maybe I'm wrong, but I'll ask you because you played it. Do you remember when they made they moved the blue lines back? They made the neutral zones shorter.
Mm-hmm.
What if they went back the other way? You made the offensive zone or the defensive zone a smaller area, so it would create more of a requirement for physical play.
Yeah, that would. I mean, you'd have more bodies in a shorter space. Right? Yeah. I mean, that's something to think about.
I don't know if it would work.
I don't know if it would work either. I'm just trying to put myself in that situation when you said it. I don't know how that would go.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot of things that they've implemented in the league, especially like the high hits and stuff like that. Yeah. Suspensions for those violent hits, leaving your feet for a hit. You can't do that, of course. I mean, the guys did that for years.
Yeah.
Right.
Flying out of their own feet just to get a big hit. And it happened a lot.
Yeah.
But you don't see that a lot anymore. And that's a rule I'd want to keep in. You don't want guys getting hurt like that.
That seems like more than anything, it's a safety thing.
Yeah.
That was a good one to legislate into.
It was.
Yeah.
But it takes away from the rest of the physicality because if there's no more big hits,
it
doesn't get anybody else on the benches pissed off about it.
Right.
Correct.
So you just, there's not like, I'm going to get that guy for that hit. There's none of that anymore because you just don't see those kind of hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the old guy lament.
I don't think it's an old guy lament, though. I'm not an old guy, and I miss the physicality.
Oh, well, that's good.
I do. Like, I think on the whole, I do enjoy seeing highly skilled players and see the speed of the game increasing. I think all that's great. But if it is simply just going to be a skill-based game and there's no physicality whatsoever, that is not hockey to me.
Right.
That's akin to how we say in the NFL, it turns almost into glorified, flag football. you have to still have some level of physicality. It's one of the few things that sets hockey apart from the other sports, that sets football, apart from the other sports. Even in baseball, like when they got rid of the collisions at home plate, I hated that. I get from a safety perspective why you might want to do it. But there are certain things that I think are foundational to each of these sports. And like losing that physicality, losing the kind of hit that pisses off the bench and is the ignition that lights the powder keg on fire. Like that takes a lot out of the soul of the sport.
Correct.
Yeah, sure.
Correct.
And then it does feel like once you get to the playoffs, and as the playoffs
it
go
shows
on,
up.
the game gets officiated differently. And it feels like you don't go all the way back to what it used to be,
Yeah.
but you certainly get a glimpse back into it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
Right.
I don't think it's an old guy thing. The people can let us know in the comments over on YouTube, Facebook, and X. By the way, if you're listening on the radio, right, you can always jump in. This streams over on Snow the Goalie's YouTube, Facebook, and X. And if you're listening in or you're watching or whatever and you want to get in on the conversation, you can give us a call tonight, 215-949-3232. Again, 215-949-3232. And I know there's a place that you want to go. There's a thing that you wanted to get to. But before you do,
yes,
let's remind the people why we love Chickies and Pete so much. We're here every Wednesday.
Go ahead.
And I say here as if here is a singular location. But no. Here is more of like an omniscient presence, right? Here is one of the 17 locations in the greater Philadelphia area. Tonight it happens to be Bordentown. Last week it was Marlton. Next week it's Malvern. And then the week after we have 2 shows.
Correct.
If I remember correctly.
That's
I don't remember
correct.
where the first one is though. Oh, Bet Parks. We're at Parks.
And then
Parks Casino
South
in Ben
Philly.
Salem. And then South Philly on that Saturday for the first home game back. It'll be the Flyers' 3rd game back from
First
the Olympic
home game.
break.
Is that
It'll
an
be their
afternoon
first
game?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a 3:00 game.
Yeah.
So every Wednesday, we are at a Chickies and Pete's. Typically, I mean, I have to think that if you're in the listening area of the radio station or if you're somebody who's an avid Flyers fan, chances are we at some point, some week, will be in your backyard. So it's always worth checking in with us to find out where we'll be next. But Chickies and Pete's, 17 locations in the greater Philadelphia area. You can get the Bundy, get the clam chowder, get a pizza, and have yourself some shrimp. You can do what I do. Shrimp, grilled chicken sandwich. You know, you got to get the protein. Get a little bit clean protein. Have some crab fries. And your order today, I saw you abandoned ship on the fish tacos.
I just bounce around.
You went back to the crab cakes.
Yeah, I don't like to do the same thing every time.
Okay.
I like to keep the palate
cleansed.
not cleansed.
You like to have a little variety on
a
that
little
palate?
variety on the palate. Yeah, a little variety.
He doesn't like the variety when the people are stacking, going down the luge or whatever, but he likes to have a little variety when it comes to his palate. Anyway, come on out. Join us every Wednesday at Chickies and Pete's. Big thank you to them for having us out here, especially tonight here in Bordentown, New Jersey. Now, Anthony, I know that there's something that you wanted to get to.
Yeah, I do. And I think this is something worth talking about here for the remaining 15 minutes of the show, especially because I think the people are going to get riled up by it. But I'm sure everyone has seen, and if they've not, they should go out and find it. There is a former NHL video coach named Steve Peters, who is currently the telestrator guy for ESPN. He was a video coach I believe in Phoenix for Talk, and then he also worked for Torts at one point. Mm-hmm. But he was video coaching NHL for like 20 years. Okay. He did a breakdown the other day of the last 5 Flyers games, looking at every possession Matvei Michkov was on the ice, every shift that he was on the ice. And it was a pretty damning video. It's about 22 minutes long. It's the entirety is on YouTube. He has clips of it on X you can find. And I thought it was a pretty harsh but fair assessment of the way that Michkov has been playing this season as compared to last season for the Flyers. And I think that it's an interesting thing, and I want to get to Bundy on this a little bit, because when you're looking at video in that way, you're not watching hockey the way we watch hockey on TV, right? Like, we're watching hockey on television. We're watching specific plays as they're developing. You can't see all 5 guys at the same time. You're trying to watch as much as you can, but you're looking for the highlights. You're looking for the goals and the assists and the big hits or whatever the case might be, big saves. But you're not watching like specific individual breakdown of how a play is happening or what's happening on a play. And so where I wanted to start with this is Bundy, I know you got a chance to watch the video.
Yeah.
That's kind of how coaches break down video in video sessions with players, correct?
With individual players,
Yes.
not in front of the group.
Correct.
Yeah. Now they'll do team videos where they're going to show like a different collection of what the team can do better as a whole. And usually within those videos, there's one individual that's going to get called out because he's the one that did something wrong.
Right.
It's just a teaching tool. It's not to make the player feel bad about anything. You're just trying to get better.
Sure.
But individually, that thing that PD did right there, that was done. That would be used as an individual teaching tool.
Right.
To show him, here's a couple things you did well. Here's things you need to work on. Now, the thing I got from the Michkov video when I watched it momentarily, I got to about the 20-minute mark. I didn't see the last two. It seems like when he's moving his feet, good things happen.
Yes.
When he doesn't move his feet, nothing good happens. So the question is he just not moving his feet, or can he not move his feet?
Right.
That's going to be the $1 million question coming down the road.
Yeah.
Is his skating the problem that is why he can't get there? And if so, what do you do about that? If it's not, and it comes down to a matter of extra effort, being in better shape, then that answers the question of what he was trying to show in the video.
Yeah. No, I thought it was a very fair assessment. And look, he shows positive in this video too. This is not not 22 minutes of killing Michkov. He shows some good stuff as well. And he even says in the video, like, there is still a really good future NHL player in Matvei Michkov. Yeah. Like he even this is not meant to be as a criticism. And like you said, it's meant to be a teaching tool more than anything else. And so that's why I found it really fascinating to look at it from that perspective, because fans don't normally get that kind of a breakdown.
Yeah.
Right. You get, people like us talking about it. You get other people just kind of saying what they're seeing and their impressions, whatever the case might be. But you don't normally get, as a fan, an opportunity to have a video coach's perspective on the way a player is playing. Now, I don't know if he plans to do another one down the line to say, hey, let's compare what I did in February, what it looks like in beginning of April. Like maybe there's a difference. Maybe you could see a difference in the way he's playing, and then use that as a comp. And he doesn't, by any stretch of the imagination, try to assign fault or blame to sit there and say, well, they should be coaching this better, or this is all on the player. Like he doesn't do any of that. It kind of leaves that up to your own interpretation. I look at it and I sit there and say, there are some things in there I think, okay, he can get better there, but I think that there are some things in there that I think are red flags.
Right.
And the red flag things that I was worried about was more so the plays, Bundy, when it's like, go into the corner, go get the puck, don't turn your body away from the guy and barely make contact with him so that they get the puck and come back out at you the other way.
Lots of those examples.
Right. Those were the ones that bothered me, because that's not about anything to do with the shape that you're in. That's not about your skill level. That's about a want to and a compete level. Yeah. Right.
Yep.
And so that to me is the one that bothers me more than anything else. The other things I look at and go, he's not in the right position. That's something. He's 21 years old. He's going to learn. He's going to figure it out, and he's going to understand eventually where he needs to be. That doesn't bother me as much. It's the plays where it's like, it's right there in front of you. Go get the puck. Go do what you got to do, and you just peel off. And that's like, that's the frustration.
Yeah,
right?
that's why the coaches would get mad over plays like that, where those are like determination plays. They're 50-50 battles. How do you get that puck from the other guy? Because he's in the same battle you're in.
Right.
And if you're only going in halfway, right, where you're kind of going in, like you see the puck, he's going to get the forecheck, and then he just turns his body, and then the guy just peels around him and away he goes.
Yeah.
And those are the plays that you got to get better at. If you want the puck, you got to go get the puck.
Yeah. So, I know you got a chance to watch. I was wondering what your impression was.
So I'm of two minds, right? And I don't know, maybe this is where I'll go to Bundy with it, but like within that video, it is, clear as day. Michkov gets the fewest defensive zone starts of any forward on the team, right?
Yeah.
And then a good chunk of the video, like I think almost half the video, or first 12 minutes or whatever, are about Michkov failing in his defensive zone.
Yeah.
So my version of this is he great in his defensive zone? Certainly not. When you're in year 3 of a rebuild shouldn't these be the moments where, as a coach, you put that player in that position where, listen, you have to learn. I'm not saying trial by fire, but you do have to put the player maybe in more opportunities to either sink or swim in that defensive zone. And if he's getting the fewest starts there of any forward on the team, I'm not sure that that's like a developmentally appropriate thing. Bundy, like, is there some thought to that? Like, you kind of got to let him work through some of it, right?
Unless the coach has absolutely zero trust in the player, then he's going to avoid as many defensive zone faceoffs as they possibly can. But at the same time, you have to let that guy get a feel for what that water's like, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think the only way to do that is just to play him in moments that may be obscure to him.
Yeah.
He's got to figure out his way through that.
And I don't think you're wrong. What I think is you have to look at it from this perspective. He's going to get those opportunities this year once they're officially out of it,
yeah.
Right? Rick Tocchet is doing what a coach is supposed to do, is try to win, right?
Sure.
Like, that's a coach doesn't go into it saying, I don't care if we win or not. Go out there and play. Mm-hmm. Like, the coach is coaching to win a game. And while he's going to protect his young players in this time period. That's what he's doing. And you could criticize that if you want.
Sure.
But from a fan's perspective, you can criticize that. But the organizational perspective is never going to be, oh, well, we don't care about winning. Just go out and play. Like, that's never going to be the case. So he's doing his job.
The counter to that, though, is that, Jonesy did say at the Carnival, sometimes we have to remind, the coaching staff to play the younger guys a little bit. I think that if we, away from the cameras, said to Jonesy and to Danny Briere, do you want to see this player, in the case Michkov, do you want to see him have more opportunities to sink or swim? They probably say yes.
But here's how I'll respond to you on this, because I think what Keith Jones says to us on our show or on somebody else's show is what he's saying to the public. But what they say internally, if they had a real problem with what was being done with Michkov, it would have changed by now. You have to assume that they're on board with this at this juncture of the season. Like, if it was a problem in November, it would have been fixed in November. You see what I'm saying? And we've been talking about it for several months now.
There were some things that Torts was doing even last year that the front office wasn't totally on board with.
But that's why he got fired.
Yeah, he didn't get fired in the first month of the season, though. Like, there were things that eventually, over the course of time, didn't get rectified, and so that was just like an ever-mounting case.
Right.
But and it's tough because I'm kind of two minds there, right? Like, there was back in the Hextall and Hackstall days, and we talked about this on the show way back when, that Hextall was kind of trying to influence the lineup and probably have more of a hands-on approach than a front office executive should. So I guess you can't crucify a front office executive for doing that, and then at the same time also go after them if they have nothing to do with it. I don't know. It's an interesting spot to be in.
No, I mean, look, it is. It's not ideal. It's not the best situation, but you have to allow it to see if it works or not.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and that's what it ultimately comes down to. Look, I'll tell you right now, if they get back, let's just play this game with me. I don't think this is going to happen.
I don't want to play this game that you're about to
play.
I
don't think this is going to happen, but let's just play this game with me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say they go 4-1 in their next 5 games, and all of a sudden they're back within 2 points of a playoff spot. Mm-hmm. This is not going to change. So the way that they're using Michkov is not going to change.
Yeah.
If they lose 4 out of 5, and now all of a sudden they're absolutely dead and buried.
Yeah.
Mishkov's going to play 17, 18 minutes a night.
We'll see.
They're 8 points out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'd love to say that they'd be 2 points back, Ant, but everybody else.
But I'm saying
he's just playing. He's playing
the
best
okay,
case scenario
if you're
for
2 points out. Yeah, different story.
I don't think they've reached the point in the season where they've said we're out of it.
Yeah, the problem is with the schedule, they could go win 4 out of 5 and still be 8 out.
Oh yeah, sure.
No,
but what I'm saying is that they have not. I guess the better way to put it is the Flyers have not reached a point in the season where internally they say we're out of the race yet.
Right.
Until that moment comes, Matvei Michkov's going to play the way that they've been playing him. And once that moment arrives where they go, okay, we're not making the playoffs, then you're going to see Michkov get those opportunities.
which is fine. And I would respectfully push on the idea that, like, when you do tell the fan base that it is a long process and that you are rebuilding and you're trying, I would almost make the case that, yeah, you want your coach to go out and coach every game like you're supposed to win it. You want the players to go out and compete every day. You still have the ability, say this every year, you have the ability as the front office to dictate whether or not the coach has enough good tools to be able to get the job done or not. Right? You can give that coach a quarter full toolbox, right? And that coach is still going to go out and try to get the job done, going to use the tools that he has. Ultimately, the job's not going to get done, but you're going to get a feel for, do each of the tools that are actually there, do they work, and can they be part of the long-term future? Because this front office over the last few years has decided, well, no, we'll give you like a 3/4 full, a 7/8 full toolbox. I'm not so sure that the coach has had to really figure out what he's got. I don't know if Torts really did. I don't know if Tocchet really has had it yet. Yeah, maybe if they fall out of it, maybe Tocchet then does play him 16, 17 minutes.
I think
my concern will be
will
if they fall out of it and we're still having the conversation about why is he only playing 10, 11 minutes, and then we get another one of these video breakdowns. Listen, Michkov is not a perfect player by any stretch. He has plenty of warts in his game. I'll go to Chris Pronger, of all people, right? Pronger is one of the more respected guys, right, in the last few decades to play in this league. He's played at a high level. He went over on Chicklets. He had two quotes that I thought were like a real big standout. He was talking about why fans focus so much on Michkov, right? And he said they've been in what's called a rebuild for what seems like 12 years. I think they're frustrated and they want the rebuild to be over, but they didn't go about the rebuild properly in the early days. So obviously there's a magnification. The spotlight is shining really bright on Michkov here. And the other thing is, he said that just comparing where Michkov is being used right now versus Torts a year ago, you look at the power play goals. He's at 3 this year, right? He had 8 last year.
Yeah.
Pronger looking at it now, again, not watching every game, not focused in this little bubble like we are, but said, he watched games under Torts, has watched games under Tocchet, and said that he thought that by playing Michkov the way that he did on the power play, installing things that kind of worked better, it seemed like, for Michkov, he thought that Torts was putting Michkov in a position to be more successful than Tocchet is. Didn't say that it's all over and that it can't be adapted, but at least from his view, maybe Michkov isn't being optimized the way that.
Yeah, I think if there's a fair criticism for how Michkov's being used, I think he should be used more on the power play.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's the one.
Yeah.
Everything else I'm kind of okay with. I just think that the power play is where I disagree with the way that they've used Michkov. So maybe you see an expansion of his role on the power play.
Bundy, I would say that Michkov has gravity, right? There's still, even if he's struggling, he is still one of the most skilled, talented players on the team. And if he's on the power play, you can't sag off him, right? Like, he has gravity.
He does. I mean, he'll carry some weight on the power play. He's still working his game. I mean, and you can't rule out a sophomore slump. That might just be what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think on the power play, I think he's shown some good mettle on the power play and made some good plays. I'd like to see more of him on it.
All right, so we're going to end there. We want to thank everybody who came out to Chickies and Pete's in Bordentown, everybody who joined us on the stream. Don't forget, next week, we are in Malvern. And then the week after, we're at Parks Casino on a Wednesday and South Philly on a Saturday. So plenty of opportunities to come out and talk puck. We will, I'm sure, be going back and forth over on Twitter and everywhere else as the Olympics get further underway. Guys, really quick, your favorite to win as of right now is?
Canada.
Canada's the favorite, but I don't think they're going to win.
Really?
I don't. I think the Americans are going to win.
Wow.
All right. And on that, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching, maybe even listening to Snow the Goalie. Have a great night, everybody. We'll talk to all of you very